Welcome to Sprinkle with Hope podcast and your host, Shane. And today we have an amazing guest. It's taken us a little bit of time to book her, but we're so excited to be talking to Priya Kumar. She is a motivational speaker, an author, a screenwriter, and she's taking time out of her busy night to talk to us. Priya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So Priya comes all the way from India, right? You're in India right now, Priya?
Yes.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us. So by way of introduction, Priya, why don't you, for our listeners, just give a little bit of background about how you got into motivational speaking? What made you decide to go that route in life?
I think I was always meant to talk, so my mom says that I started speaking very early. And, in school, I don't know if you had it like that, but we used to get this diary where the teacher would write a remark in red, the complaint to the parents. So the complaint perpetually was talks too much, so and they would tell me just keep quiet, and no amount of punishment or red remarks or whatever would help. So for all it was a career in the making.
Yeah.
So I think I always loved communicating. So it wasn't just like, or talk too much wasn't just talking for the sake of talking. I think I say this in all modesty. I think I spoke sense. Like I would read a lot, and sometimes I would be compelled to share. If somebody presents a problem to me, I'm compelled to share that no, you can do it. And sometimes to convince people out of their own limitations takes a while. So you have to talk too much.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that happened from the start. And then I started to teach my friends because I was a top student and I couldn't bear it that my friends who are genuinely nice kids, that they are still lacking behind. So I would teach them. And, when you're teaching friends, it goes beyond the curriculum. So I started to share a lot with them and it grew. So I would read a lot. And by that virtue, I was compelled to help people. And then finally, I decided to make a career out of it 25 years ago. And if you actually come to India, there was no career in motivational speaking because we're a very spiritually rich country, which means that every little corner has this thing called satsang, which means that there will be a spiritual teacher. You gather around and they give a sermon, they give a nice talk about life and living. So technically motivational speaking with, an underline of spirituality. So, and for free. So to make a career out of it had to be, led with lots of passion to help people with no regard for the income. So
Right.
and I always tell people, if you really want to follow your passion and do something you love to do it when you're young. When less money, more money doesn't impact you. When you still don't have a family and still don't have so many financial obligations and responsibilities that you can get away, even if you're not doing well. So luckily, I started then. Now people tell me, oh, I don't think I can take this up as a career because if I quit my job, then how will I sustain myself? So even though they feel it's their calling, they don't see it as a financial sustenance for at least 1 to 2 years. So it's lucky I started early, and it was something that came from a strength that even if I wasn't paid a buck to do this, I would still do it, and people would complain she talks too much. So that's how
awesome. I love it, Priya, and I love that you brought up passion, because Shane and I, that's one of the things that really drives us is passion. Can you talk about passion a little bit more, and like how to find that passion and drive to do something that may be even hard or difficult and work through that? I love passion, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes. See, passion emerges from something that you really love to do. And also, I feel that passion needs proof. That if you say, oh, I'm passionate about music, then, hey, I haven't heard you sing. I haven't heard anything, So we haven't seen the struggle. We haven't seen the immersion. We haven't seen the indulgence. Where are the complaints? Where are the red marks? Plays too much music, is disturbing us all night. So I feel people use passion also as an excuse, to say, I love to do this, but I'm not able to. So, like you guys are doing such an awesome job. I don't think you are guided by, the peripheries. You're doing this out of love, and it shows.
Right.
So if somebody has a passion, if something that they love to do, then take money out of the picture. It's
Yeah.
like you say, I would love to buy a Ferrari. So just buying it is not enough. You have to also maintain it, and that perhaps is more expensive than buying a Ferrari. So
Right.
passion demands that yes, you ask for it, but it's going to cost you. End of the day, it's going to cost you your time, your money, your effort, and may not bring you any returns except satisfaction that I did what I love to do. And if that is the criteria or the guiding force, then you'll make it eventually. Maybe
Yeah.
not in the start, but eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so awesome that you took this criteria from your teacher that says, Priya, you talk too much, to say, this is my passion, this is what I want to do, and you've turned that around and made a career of it. And I don't believe you did it for money. I don't get that feeling. You do it simply because you love helping people and love talking about these things. I've been following you for a while, and I just love what you're saying. So we're so happy that you've joined us. How do you find the motivation, or how does one find the motivation to keep doing the things that they want to be doing?
I think it's also having the spirit of adventure. That if your work, like if you really love to do something, then you'll also expand in it. You don't want to be in that little circle, because love naturally grows. When you love someone, you want to spend more time with them. You want to do more stuff with them. So whatever that you love to do, it can't be in that little realm. You want to reach out to more people. You want to go ahead. That, I feel, is the true test of love. Not less, not I'm happy, not I'm satisfied.
Mhm.
So to go beyond, I think, is what keeps me motivated. How many more countries shall I go to? How many more people can I speak to? How much more can I learn? And also, I tell you, motivational speaking as a profession, I am the greatest beneficiary. If they say in India, it's this saying that says, if you say a lie 100 times, it becomes the truth. Which
Yep.
means if you say something so many times, it becomes your truth. So
Yeah.
while I may have done 100 workshops with 100 different audiences, I was a constant. So how can I not become that which I am telling people to be? So every time I grow, I become bigger and I want to do more. So I'm forever motivated. Like, people have a problem. They told me, why do you keep smiling? I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy. So why will I not smile? I'm thinking of good things.
Yeah.
So because I am the beneficiary, it serves me the most. It serves me the best. And I also am the kind of person, I overcommit. So if I can do one, I'll say I'll do 10. Then, I am like running, making that happen. And I love it, because in my head, because I keep telling people, you can do more. Impossible is nothing. So I think my commitments come from that belief.
Yeah.
There was one time this gentleman asked me, so how many books of yours do you think you can sell? And I said, I think I can sell 10,000. And he said, that's the wrong target, because you can't do what you think you can. You have to go beyond that. You have to go
Oh,
beyond your own
yeah.
thinking. So I said, okay, I want to sell 1 million. So that's how I am in my real life. And in that, and because today I've become a public figure, while that's awesome, it's also a lot of pressure. Because if I put out a public statement, I'm going to do this, then I better do it. Otherwise, I lose my job. Because
Right.
people will say, oh, you can't do what you say.
Yeah.
How do you have the right to tell us what to do? So that's what keeps me inspired, learning, growing, motivated, and running.
That's awesome. I love the happiness. Shane and I are genuinely happy people, and so I love your smile. I love your enthusiasm, and and you brought up happiness and love, right? And
Yeah.
so you do have a new book coming out. Would
Yes.
you like to share that with us, and also talk about finding happiness in 2021 when, I think you just talked about this recently. one of your videos about happiness and finding happiness in 2021.
Yes. So my book is called My Little Book of Love. Because and I am. People have been telling me to write a love story for a long time, but I think what they expect is um, an untruth love story. It doesn't happen like that, how they show in the
Yeah.
movies. So I thought I would give a little reality of what is love first, and then write a novel which will be accepted. So my book on love is on different, it's quotation. So sometimes, just one line says it all. You really don't have to read a whole chapter. Like there's this book that says the 5 second rule, which means whatever you decide, put it into action in 5 seconds. I got it. I don't have to read the book, So I love these one liners, little quotes. So I have put that together on different subjects like handling pain, handling rejection, handling expectations, and loving unconditionally, easier said than done. So it's a cute book. And we're launching it on Valentine's Day. And that basically is a prelude to my romance novel, real time romance. So that is that. And also happiness, I feel, comes in overcoming challenges. It comes in being productive. It comes in making a difference. It comes in being useful, where you feel good about yourself, you feel good about others. And that's happiness, really. It's a good feeling from inside. And happiness rarely comes from I'm happy with you. It's not a dependence, it's an inner state. And I, even during the lockdown, so it was terrible for everybody. And my mother has an NGO where she was looking after the slum children. There's a slum close by. So every day I was out because I had the essential services tag. So while people were saying stay at home, be safe, but somebody had to do something about other people, okay? If and we heard of terrible things happening to people at home. And I said, look, if I'm going to go, let me go in service. So every day I was out helping out. And I think and people kept telling me, what if you fall sick? I'm like, I'm too happy to fall sick. So I am just too service oriented. I have to show up. So because you'll say, what if I fall sick, and you will stay home? So happiness, ask somebody. When they do a good deed, they're happy. When you help somebody, you're happy. So and people say, why do you do so much? Because it makes me happy. And if you keep doing that, I think you're sorted. You won't have that unreasonable expectation from someone else. So you won't land up telling someone, I'm unhappy because of you. It's in your hands. Go do something. Go down, help an elderly lady, make a phone call to a friend and appreciate. Everybody needs that. And that's it. Lo behold, you're all cheered up, fired up, and in a good mood. So I think the formula is very simple. We complicate it. Like I have these youngsters who say, I'm depressed. And I say, can you go down for a walk? Yeah, but you don't want to get up also. So at least do that much. Taking a walk, clears your head up and it gives you ideas. So action, I think, is happiness. And action led in the direction of productivity, contribution, service is the road to happiness. Fastest.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I love everything you're saying because
thank you. You're very kind.
you can feel that the reason you do these things is not the money or the fame or that. It really is that you want to reach out and help one person. I truly get that feeling from you, and I appreciate that. You talk a lot about great things. Jason and I are just starting our journey. Hopefully someday we can be like you when we grow up.
You are, be better.
Yeah. But you talked about action, and Jason and I talk a lot about that. So think back to your first, you want to be a motivational speaker, and at the time India isn't that way. What type of action, or what did you take to really get that to start to take off in India?
Being non-judgmental about the opportunities. Like when I started out, it's not that I got big multinational clients. I went around the little slum area to talk to the kids. Then I went to anywhere, whoever would invite me without judgment. Will they pay me or not? How many people will be there? There was one time only 2 people showed up, but I spoke because that's what I want to do. So a lot of times, like even today, when there are people who tell me, oh, if you have an opportunity, please tell me. And then I tell them, okay, there's this little town in India, Bhubaneswar. Can you go there and talk? Oh no, but hey, I'm giving you an opportunity. So if you say no to one, you never know. It might open the door to something else. And I tell you, I have maintained that attitude forever. It's been 2.5 decades.
Yeah.
I'm in this really tiny place in India. I will come. I will not say no to work. So a lot of people, they let go work thinking, oh, it's not paying me enough. How will it serve me? It's not giving me the exposure. But do it. Just go ahead and do it. So action means action. It means not judging. What will I get? Who will, how many people? No, you go do what you want to do and pretend there's a whole world out there listening to you. Stand alone and talk. The vibe will reach somewhere. The vibe will reach to somebody. And if you can be yourself, irrespective of how much you're getting paid or who is there or how big or small the opportunity is, you are in the making of a genius. Everything else becomes incidental. Like a lot of times, like sometimes people negotiate on price and they say, okay, so then will you speak for 20 minutes? And I said, no, I'll speak what I have to speak. It doesn't matter how much you're paying me. So just because you're paying me, I'll talk less. I don't think I can do that. I will do what I have to do, and karma will come around and I'll make the money. No problem.
Yeah, I love that because I think it goes back to the passion and the happiness almost combined, right? Like you go and talking makes you happy. And if you can help even one person, that's all worth it in the end. And I love how you said, even if you talk to yourself, right, you're going to send that energy and all of that stuff out into the world and people will feel that. And I really have loved, what you said thus far. It's really hit home to me. So I appreciate your comments. I really do, Priya. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It takes one to see another.
Yeah, that's right. Like you have to, there's kind of the saying that says, if you spot it, you got it, right? So if you can see in others what you see, you already have in yourself. So if you spot something good in somebody else, you've already got that inside of you. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
So Priya, we've come to a point where Jason and I have 2 questions. We call it the double down dose. So you ready for this?
Nice. It sounds nice. Yes.
So 2 simple questions. The first question is, what does hope mean to you, or how would you define hope?
Well, for me, hope must also come with a deadline. It can't be that I'm forever hoping, so there has to be at one point where I have to take some tough decisions. While I hope, for instance, let's say, I hope I will get better, but it can't just be dependent on that. If I don't get better by so and so time, then I will get help, or I will, do X, Y, Z, and so on to carry that further. A lot of time, hope for people means I give my hands up and I've left it in someone else's hands. Hope still means responsibility. Even in the worst and severest of situations, there is still something you can do, even if it is go to sleep, clear your head, take a walk, or whatever it is. So for me, hope is time bound. And after that, I say, okay, let me do now to make it happen. And in that, there is hope.
Yeah, I love it. And we love it Shane and I love asking these questions because I think it really gets, we've gotten so many different answers just from these 2 questions. So thank you for bringing like a different insight to it. I really appreciated that. So the second part of the double down dose is, what is your definition of love? And I know you've already mentioned a little bit about it, but how would you define it? What is your definition of love?
Well, I feel that love is a one-way flow. It's not it's not a two-way street. Like we say, it's a two-way street, because then that is expectation. That is a relationship. Relationship is different from love. A relationship is an agreement. It may not be love at all. Love means it's incidental, that you care back, that you reciprocate, but I'm doing because I want to do this. I know it's tough. And when we say love and we say unconditional, immediately it says, oh, it's not possible in a relationship. So there you have agreements. But you see, if you look at nature, nature is a one-way flow of love. Take human beings on one side. Which other living thing on the planet gets upset if you don't give it attention? If there's a flower blooming and this beautiful scent, and you don't look at it, do you think it's going to get upset, come and whack you, spit on you, or talk bad about you? No. So only we have confused ourselves with love and relationship. So love for me is purity, one way. I give because that's who I am.
That's great.
I love that.
We really appreciate your time today, Priya. Your insight has been fantastic. So
Thank
best
you.
wishes with you on, I think this is your 13th book that you're going to release next month?
Yes, my 13th book.
Book number 13.
And
So
yes,
best wishes
and
in that. We hope you sell 20 million.
oh, thank you. I'd love to send you a few copies.
That would be awesome.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again so much for your time, Priya. We really appreciate it.
So just real quick, Priya, before we let you go, how can people get in touch with you? How can they, get in contact with you if they want to follow you and on the social medias or whatever?
Well, I'm on social media everywhere. I handle my account myself. I reply eventually within 48 hours. I have my website. And I'm very, very happy to communicate. Like sometimes people send me very long emails and I say, can you give me your phone number? I'll send you a voice note because I don't know how to, type so much.
Yeah.
So, and because sometimes also people write, is it really you? They don't believe the reply. So I like leaving voice notes so nobody can fake my voice. So I love to communicate. Yes. So I am there on social media and happy to connect.
Okay.
Awesome.
Great.
Cool. Well, we'll make sure we put it in the show notes and everything for them to be able to get a hold of you and whatnot. But thank you so much, Priya. Thank you for your time.
No, you guys are amazing. Thank you for waiting for me. You're very, very kind, and more power to you. You're doing such a fantastic job. I'm inspired. So thank you for the opportunity. I'm humbled.
Yeah. Thank you, Priya.